in these tough economic times, but that might not have to be the case.
That's if you do a little spring cleaning. Financial advisor Rob Wilson joins us this morning to tell you how. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning.
Well, of course, with spring cleaning, like your finances, I'm assuming that you need to start with your house, your personal finances first, right?
Absolutely. The weather is finally beginning to break. And I think the tendency is to want to run out to Home Depot, get your garden and your lawn ready for the summer. But with the economy and the markets improving ever so slightly, I mean, the Dow is up 25% from its lows in March. I think this does present a good time to get your financial house in order. But, you know, before you get to your portfolio, you've really got to go first things first. I mean, the return on your investment does not matter if you're paying late fees because your bills are late, or you're paying a lot of interest because you have high credit card bills. So you've got to do that first. Once you do that, review your accounts more often. I know some people are just getting the courage to look at those statements after the last couple of months, but you've got to look at it. If the crisis have taught us anything, you can't fall asleep at the wheel. You've got to review those things. The market can turn very quickly in a positive or negative direction. You should look at those monthly and at least in between, catch up on the news in the markets. And if something significant is out there, check your portfolio and see how it's reacting to it. Also, schedule regular reviews with your financial advisor. If you schedule checkups with your doctor or your dentist, schedule your review with your financial advisor at the same time as an easy way to remind yourself to do that. And the last point I have here is decide what amount of risk you can afford and can really take. If you say, I can't physically stomach more than a 20% loss, set up your portfolio to automatically sell those stocks or those investments that go down that far. That way you insulate yourself from a 30, 40, 50% loss on those investments.
Robbie talked about the discipline of that and finding the courage to check.
Haven't worn it in a couple years. It's got to go.
Spring cleaning.
Get that out of the closet.
So, Rob, tell us, what else can we tidy up? Because a lot of people are now looking back at things like their will and some of those. What else can we tidy up?
I think, first of all, those important documents, you need to locate them and let other people know where to find those documents if something were to happen to you. Once you found them in your house somewhere, update them, make sure your will, your power of attorney, your trust, make sure they still fit your goals. Also, look at your beneficiaries on your life insurance, IRA, your 401k, especially if your marital situation has changed or you've had a kid in the past year. Review your life insurance to make sure you have enough, and it's possible that you might be able to even get the same amount of coverage at a cheaper price, so it's good to review that. And also, I know we just got done with tax time. The time to start planning for taxes for next year is now. Whether you paid something back to the government or you got a refund, plan for that now. That way you won't have any surprises next year.
Rob, while we're on the topic of tidying things up, I know we've touched on this in previous segments, but for those who are truly beginners when it comes to investments and they're not really tidying up their portfolio because they really haven't decided where to go, what is a good first step for the most beginner of investors?
I would say take an amount of money that you can afford to lose. So if you bought something and it absolutely went to zero, it's not going to kill you. Don't take your rent money and put it in the market. Start with an amount that you can afford to lose. That way you can get used to how things work, get used to checking it, watching the market, get yourself more comfortable, and then eventually you can put more money in.
Yeah, you got it. I guess that's the key, coming up with what you're comfortable with losing, because in these times, for some people, it might only be a couple of $100. Is that an investment even worth making?
It is. It is. I think, again, I've talked about this before, the habits are more important than the amount. So if you put in $100 or $250, just getting in the habit of investing and looking at it and watching it and seeing how the market works will make you a lot more comfortable with that in the future.
All right, Robert Wilson, financial advisor, we thank you for the info this morning.
Thank you so much.
And we will have Rob back on for the very latest in financial news and advice coming up right here on the KDK TV Morning News on Pittsburgh CW.